What's going on, everybody? This is Nick from House of Paint, and I'm going to be taking you through the process of creating this Boba Fett from this Boba Fett. Let's dive right in and get started. Starting off with a base coat of German Camo dark green. This is going to be a little bit hard to see against the black primer, but it is going to really make a big difference when we start applying those second and third layers. For the second layer of highlights on the armor, I'm going with a 50-50 mix of US dark green and flat green. And I'm going to be going up about 80% of the way onto the base coat here. And if you like what you see, if you could do me a big favor and click that little beholder in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen and subscribe, you'll be able to get up-to-date info on all the latest content that I am putting out there in my quest to paint the Monster Manual, and of course all my shenanigans in between. Thank you. Now for the third layer of highlights, I'll be adding heavy gold brown to the mix, and I will be using about 70% of the layer 2 mixture with 30% heavy gold brown roughly. And I'm going to be again shrinking the playing field of the highlights that I am using, working up to the brightest point. You can kind of see it on the helmet. Almost looks like a topographical map where you can see where the highlights are stopping and where the new ones are beginning. Focusing the highlights on the chest plate into the center 2/3 mostly, leaving the darker base in the curves kind of going under towards the shoulders to create that illusion of a curvature. And now the final layer of highlights, taking layer 3 and adding 30% heavy gold brown and putting it over the smallest surface area to really give that green armor a metallic glint. Basing the iconic red visor in a layer of burnt red. Now for the visor's second layer, I'll be using a 50-50 mix of dark vermilion and burnt red, and I'll be picking out mostly the curves to emphasize the shine of the helmet. Now it's going to be a pretty dull shine because it is more of a matte armor that he's wearing, but I still want to give it the impression that it is glinting with the light source. Now for the third highlight, I'll be using just a pure dark vermilion, and I'll be going right over layer 2, however in a smaller surface area. After 2 passes of layer 3, I'm going back to layer 2, very diluted, and I am going to be using layer 2 as a glaze to kind of zip those transitions up a little bit and leave it less harsh. Now for the fourth and final layer, I'll be going right over layer 3, only again in a smaller surface area with a 70-30 mix of dark vermilion and heavy gold brown. And this is really going to provide this visor that sort of sheen that I'm looking for. Now going to edge the visor with layer 4 as well, and we'll move on to the next portion. Basing the side panels of the helmet in heavy brown. And now with dark sand, I'm just going to be adding an edge highlight to the side panels here. And with a little layer of heavy blue, gray, and white, I'm going to be adding some chipping to the portions of the visor where I think they would look most appropriate. Doing the same things in the dents in his armor as well. Basing the belt in a 70-30 mix of wood grain and orange brown. And now with pure orange brown, I'm going to be going in here and picking out these highlights, really going over the folds of the pockets, along the top and around the edges of the pockets as well. Now with dark sand, I'll be applying a highlight to the upper edges of the folds and the pockets themselves. And diluting that wood grain down with a couple drops of water, I'll be applying a wash to the pockets to kind of zip all of those transitions up a little bit. Some non-metallic gold for the belt clasp, starting off with a base coat of heavy brown. Providing some shadows under the various etches with some sepia wash. Now with some heavy gold brown, I'll be applying the main highlight to really bring out that gold nature of the clasp. Moving on to his shoulder pads with a layer of sun yellow and orange brown. After 3 layers of the base, I'm going to go in with pure sun yellow just over the main curved areas of these shoulder pads. Some heavy red for the mythosaur sigil. Basing the chest symbol with a 50-50 mix of heavy green and flat green. I'm going to paint this all in green and then bring out the white and red that's on it later on. Dark sand to frame the mythosaur skull. Starting off on the jetpack with a base coat of US dark green. I'm going to go with a layer of dark Prussian blue and heavy blue-gray for the base of the jetpack here. Now with a 50-50 mix of US dark green and heavy blue-gray, I'm going to start applying a highlight to the green areas of the jetpack. Now with pure heavy blue gray, I'll be edge highlighting the dark Prussian blue portions of the jetpack and also providing a glaze with this as well to give it kind of a metallic looking sheen. A little hammered copper on the pinnacle of the jetpack along with the sides. So on the top half of the jetpack, I was originally thinking about using non-metallic silver. However, I think it would be more prudent to use true metallic silver to kind of create some delineation between the true like mechanical portion of the jetpack and the more matte type armor that he wears, which is being represented by the dark Prussian blue, heavy blue-gray segment. Now some US dark green, I'll be using freehand to apply some of the markings on his jetpack here. All right, and there we have it, completed Boba Fett. Really hope you enjoyed. Information on how to follow me on all my social media platforms is immediately following the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.